Freeman Boat Works and Trilogy Outdoors are proud to announce the addition of Freeman Boat Works to our family of incredible partners. Billy Freeman and his team at Freeman Boat Works epitomize the American dream. From building the first boat in Billy's backyard to a 150,000 square foot state-of-the-art manufacturing plant over the past 15 years, they are building one of the most sought-after boats in the U.S. and beyond. These incredible fishing platforms are built in South Carolina and are second to none in stability, speed, and performance overall. These catamaran designs are engineered not only to get you to the fish fast, but comfortably too. Years of refining designs and pioneering the modern performance fishing catamaran is why Freeman Boat Works is the #1 choice for some of the biggest names in the fishing industry. If it's long runs in the Gulf or the Carolinas, or days you can go fishing in South Florida when most center consoles stay at the dock, Freeman Boat Works is at the forefront in all categories. For more information on Freeman Boat Works and their 6 available models, visit www.freemanboatworks.com. Redefine your expectations. Michelob Ultra and Myrtle Beach wholesaler Southern Crown Partners Incorporated know our consumers enjoy relaxing days on the water with Mich Ultra's crisp and refreshing taste in hand. It's important to remember to drink and boat responsibly. Choose to be or to designate a sober skipper before leaving the dock. Do it for your family and friends, your passengers, and everyone else on board. Michelob Ultra salutes all sober skippers who take the pledge. Cheers, and we'll see you on the water.
Merle's Inlet is a quaint little drinking village with a fishing problem. The captains at Merle's Inlet Fishing Charters get to live the best of both of these. These are the untold stories from the boats that never make it past the dock. Grab a cold beer or shot of liquor and enjoy all of the chaos of what actually happens on the boats during the best and worst charters.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. It's been a minute. We dodged storms last week.
And today.
We loaded everything up. Yeah, and today we did the same thing. But we are back. It's Captain Spolonius Reports coming to you from Jason's big wooden deck. And we have got the crew in the house. We've got representation from MISC. We've got Carolina Hook and Fly in the house. We've got Fish Finder Fleet in the house. De La Nato's over there. And
Bayless Boats.
our, what's your name of your company? Bayless Boat Works is here.
He just bought the t-shirt.
Anyway, he bought the shirt and the hat. We are here, and we've got a great topic. Our director of topics has, he's been dodging us, Jason, the last couple of weeks. You notice that he's been leaving like.
Who is that? Captain.
I'll just say his name starts with a Q. If you can't figure that out.
You talking about Wine Down at 69?
Oh, that's our close on the show now, isn't it?
Hey.
Anyway, Q came up with a great topic. Q, talk about it real quick.
I brought it off the list, but it's pet peeves on the boat.
This should have been #1.
Oh God, we can fire off and rattle off a million each, Captain, but things that just get under your skin.
And that voice you hear earlier is Captain Nick, who for years shied away from the mic. But once we heard,
which is weird because he's got the face for radio.
He does. He does. Perfect face for radio. And he's on the back of many T-shirts. And if you're looking for one of his T-shirts, please contact us. We can get you in touch with.
If you want to see the best looking T-shirt we have,
yep,
step on down.
Nick, have you ever told the T-shirt story on here?
No.
Let's tell it. Let me tell you.
I think you should tell the T-shirt.
No, I think we should tell the T-shirt story. But anyway, we are Captain Spolonius Reports. We're coming to you from Merle's Inlet Fishing Charters here in Merle's Inlet on the beautiful Merle's Inlet Marsh Walk. It's a wonderful afternoon. Mm-hmm. About 102 degree heat index, but we are in the shade under some beautiful live oak.
And the beer is cold.
And the beer's cold. Cheers, Mich Ultra. Thank you. And PBR. I'll give a shout out to your PBR people. Mich Ultra right here. And this is brought to you by Deep Eddies and Fireball. And who's your tequila company?
Casamigos.
All right. Well, we're going to have a great time tonight. Everybody is somewhat on the sober side so far, and we all know how that goes.
I know, I'm like running out of beer going. Why didn't I get a fresh one?
The wonderful part is this.
I'm sure there's somebody.
So Jason and I this week had discussion, and I put a big post up and said there's some changes in the future. Nothing major, But the fact that Jason, the Pounder Burton, has bought everything that we have here, it's time for him to learn to use it and start doing it himself. So he is going to learn over the next month, we'll say month, how to do all this. And so on some Thursdays, on Tuesdays where I might not be able to make it, he'll be able to run the show and get things going for you wonderful folks here. But we do have a great crowd here. We've ate some pizza. Thank you to Marco's Pizza. Remember that, Marco's, next time we place that order. And we are going to talk a little bit about a lot. But first and foremost, let's talk about and ask everybody for the prayers for Ryan, for Izzy.
Yeah.
There was an accident this morning, happened across the way at Marlin Quay Marina, and Captain Ryan Isbell, who is another charter captain here in the inlet, was involved in something that we're all scared of. I mean, you all work in your boats and do repairs on it and everything else, and you think about that, fumes of gas inside the boat,
it could happen
all the things that can happen.
Yeah, it's a common thing that we have talked about here is, they had the incident up in Little River with Jesse Vereen. They've had a couple other incidents. You just never know. You never know. And I mean, it's not like it's, anybody's fault or anything, but, you're dealing with fuel, you're dealing with fumes, you're dealing with hot temperatures. I mean, something goes wrong, you pay the ultimate price.
Yep.
And a lot of us take for granted, obviously when we're out there in the ocean, you get thunderstorms and stuff. Running a boat, running a charter boat, maintaining a boat, taking people out, there's a lot of variables that can hurt you. And, this is one of those things where the gas fumes got him and, there was a fire on the boat and quick explosion. And, wrong place, wrong time, bad luck. And, we got to keep him in our thoughts and prayers.
Yep, keep him in our thoughts and prayers. And also there are some talks of fundraisers and such, and the fact that he will be out of business for quite a while due to the injuries and not being able to be in the sunlight. Most people don't understand. Once you get those burns, and I'll just say this, Captain Chris Lawhon, owner of Marlin Quay, let me know, we talked about it. And Chris was involved in a grill.
Yeah, he had a freak accident where a grill exploded in his face.
Yep.
So he's had similar, treatments and stuff, and I'm sure he's probably talking to Ryan and kind of letting him know what's going on.
Well, a former captain from here at Merle's Inlet Fishing Charters, Captain Adam Goodwin, reached out, and they are working on a fundraiser, and we will keep you up to date on all that as we move forward. But speaking of moving forward, this topic is incredible, and I'll tell you, I'm anal on the boat, and I say that. I'm going to try to be nicely how I say this, but first off, I'm very picky about who I fish with.
For sure.
And there's a lot of different reasons for that. And everybody goes, you don't want to share where you're fishing. I don't give a shit if you know where I'm fishing.
There's no secrets.
Quite frankly, it's no secret.
Yeah.
Secondly, today, where we caught a lot of fish at, is a public common hole.
I may or may not have seen you.
Exactly, but typically this spot is really good in the fall.
Yeah.
And for it to be good today, it was weird. And I'll be honest, I found it, the live scope. I dropped the live scope down, went over, and we pinned that son of a bitch around. And
I did see you doing it.
And we found the fish there. And was like, all right, stop, put the trolling motor down, let's try it. First line in was the biggest black drum that we caught all day, which was big. And
it happened to be right in front of me and my customers.
No. No, we didn't do that. Were you over there?
I saw you pull up.
I'm sorry. Whoops. I'm sorry.
You got Scotty.
I did. I got
I'm
ambushed.
sorry.
You got
Well,
ambushed.
but I'm going to tell you this. Before we came back with those fish, we did check to make sure that nobody was up here with a charter, because I didn't want to pull up. And listen, we got lucky. We all know how it is. Most of the time, I'd be pulling up in front of y'all going, hey, don't look at those fish. Don't.
So the
those
funny
guys
thing
were,
is, when I started fishing, we ran from the storm this morning, and started fishing again. He comes up to me, first 3 rods in the water, we triple up. I think I had bull reds on, or big black drum, or something.
Yeah.
Rods bent over, 3 rods going around the boat, looking like Chinese fire drill. In the first 30, I don't even think I hit the anchor button on the trolling motor. And McLovin had lines out the back. Before he got the 4th line pitched out, all 3 lines hooked up. big fish. They were all freaking stud on it.
You know what this guy says to me? Move over here.
Oh, I
Like,
thought I
move
had-
over here.
Yeah, I thought.
But
I was
all
gonna
I'm
spin a
saying
redfish.
is this. This is what it's all about. And
Yeah.
that's what people don't get. Like, you know, so the Spanish Mackerel World Championship is coming up. And by the way, my boy Q over there is the defending champion.
World champion.
World champion.
And I'm going to say this, that it has been won at least the last 3 years I know of by a boat who was fishing in a close proximity to other boats,
Yes.
who were all fishing the same way, who all worked together, and there's a big bonus to that.
Bingo.
Q, you agree with me?
100%. As long as everybody's on the same game plan and everybody's
Thank you.
working well together,
Yeah.
playing nice, it's beautiful. As long as the flare gun doesn't get shot at
Wait a
anybody.
minute. Do you mean like somebody trolling 20 feet behind you?
I don't know what we're talking about. No.
I heard you were getting jiggy with it. Though.
Oh Lord, Look, that was a failure to communicate.
I
on
completely
two parties.
support Q and Matt Eisenberger and all of his team on that year, and what happened that year. That was bullshit, and I'll say that out loud.
Yeah.
But we chum. We all chum, and we fish. And if you chum, they will come.
Bingo.
You know that.
It ain't.
Now the
my
one
story.
year, you remember this, we had to suffer through somebody's manhaden oil.
Oh yeah.
And he was trolling.
Slick Rick over here.
I was Jimmy
Jason
Slick Rick.
He was jumping all over the place.
Slick Rick was trolling all around us.
He had Spanish jumping in his
That was the whole strategy. I was just going to dump myself in manhaden oil and just sabotage everybody.
But
Felt like the south end of a northbound donkey.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is this. I looked at Greg Holzhauser, who everybody here, I'm sure, is aware of it and knows, and may not, and I'm sorry, but Greg has been the outdoor writer here for 29 years on the beach with Sun News.
Sun News, yeah.
He unfortunately was let go last year, which was complete BS, and that is completely where liberal print advertising is going, but he was let go. But I'm going to say this much. He's still a big voice for the outdoors, and unfortunately he writes for Trilogy Outdoors magazine still.
Yep.
But today, when we were talking about the fact that how we need to call them. Like, that's why we texted you. We knew you had another trip or an afternoon trip. And we were like, we want somebody else to get in on this. Like, come take over. Like, we had plenty of fish.
Oh,
And that's the way it should work.
When I left there, the water was getting a little too high. I wanted to go try something else. Nick slid right in there, took the spot. I don't know, did you catch anything?
He went to the other side.
We caught a few.
He didn't
but-
go to where you were.
No, I was there.
Oh, you did? You
Yeah,
went
he
around?
slid
Okay.
Because he was pulling out, and that's
You're
where
right,
I wanted
you're
to
right,
sit.
yeah.
And then I talked to him when I was passing him. I said, "You were pulling out. That means there's no fish. I'm leaving." He said, "No, we're going
Dude,
to get something else." He said, "Pull in
Non-stop, they had somebody hooked up on their boat.
there." Yeah.
Non-stop.
Rolling. A lot of it was toadfish, but we was rolling.
Oh, we slayed the toadfish in there.
Toters.
Yeah.
No, we ended up with, I think we landed 3 or 4 big bonnet heads. We had release over 20 trout, a keeper flounder, short flounder, and then a plethora. I mean a plethora of the jetty tractor slamfish.
Yep.
Yeah, I was there to pick that up.
How about the pigfish? Are they not incredible?
I love them.
Y'all,
One of my favorites.
I'm going to tell you, have you ever eaten one? Because
Uh-huh.
we caught some that were in the 1 to 1.5 pound range and maybe even bigger. And Tony was asking, like, and even Greg Holzhauser was asking, are they in the grunt family?
They are in the grunt family.
Really?
Yes.
So they probably aren't bad table bears.
No, they're good table bear.
Well-
We actually used to tell people, there was a certain little rock that I used to fish all the time, just a few miles off the beach. And we used to catch the bigger ones. And I told people they were good, and I never had one person complain.
They look bony.
Huh?
They eat just like
So
one
do
grunt.
sprinkles, but that don't mean anything.
Hey, speaking of sprinkles,
I wouldn't
let's
eat
give a
sprinkles.
shout out. Hang on. We got to give a shout out to the one and only Will Sanchilli, Captain Sprinkles.
We got to get him
And-
on to tell his story.
Yeah, we'll get him on. There we go. There's the applause.
Is he here?
As far as I know,
Drinking his
and
daiquiri over there.
unless y'all can convince me any different, he is the only person in our circle.
Here,
He's
I'm
the
gonna
only
I'm gonna
person.
put him on. He needs to tell his story.
He's
He
that's
is
fine.
the world champion.
He's the world record holder for a fish that I wouldn't have any idea. I'd have thrown the damn thing back. All right.
How's everybody doing?
Captain Sprinkles!
What's going on, y'all?
Let's talk about this new world record. Certified world record fish.
Certified world record unicorn file.
Unicorn file
First
fish.
of all, how does that work? How do you get certified?
How do you get certified?
So when we caught this thing back in March, we caught it, brought it back to the dock, and we had, I can't remember his name from DNR, but he came down and measured it.
So you have to call DNR and tell
Call
them.
DNR.
Yeah.
When you send in your paperwork to the IGFA, you send in the hook you caught it on, the leader, all the information about the boat, general area where you were. I mean, there's a whole bunch of paperwork you got to do.
So you give the GPS number out?
Yeah.
Like, can we have that real quick? Let me just keep going.
But you send like this whole form out, and then it's basically just a waiting game. They told me I'd hear something in May, so a little later than May, but
Better late than never.
better late than never. So it's pretty cool to get certified. Definitely some once in a lifetime thing.
That's awesome.
So,
Hell yeah. I mean, again, I don't know of anybody, unless y'all do, that has a world record.
I don't know anybody with a state record.
I do know of some people with state records, and I do know that the largest percentage of state records in salt water either originated from Merle's Inlet or were caught in or around Merle's Inlet. Go look at South Carolina state records and look at where they were caught.
Interesting. I thought Little River would have a lot of those.
A lot of them are here.
well, our state record flounder.
Well, you got to think about
there,
it.
didn't
The speckled trout, right here in Merle's Inlet, right there at the entrance to Well Creek. I know that. Flounder, which is a tie,
Ooh, did not know that one.
because he did not beat the previous record by more than 4 ounces, so it is considered a tie. Even though he's more than the previous, was caught at the dock at Marlin Quay Marina,
Nice.
off the end of the dock.
Nice.
All right, so then you got the wahoo came from Merle's Inlet. State wahoo group. Scamp grouper, Merle's Inlet.
Yeah, Randall.
Queen triggerfish, Merle's Inlet.
Hey,
I'm going to guess you at least have the state record as well.
There actually was not a state record for that fish.
There's not
There's
even
just a world.
really. Wow.
that. And grab me some
At any rate, it's been incredible and super proud of you, buddy. Entertainer is in great hands. Entertainer is the name of the boat you're running.
Yes, sir.
It's a
Yep,
32
entertainment,
yellowfin.
32 yellowfin.
We had you on a couple weeks ago. It was a rare occasion that you were sober enough to sit with us
I know.
after a couple weeks back.
The last felonious report, I was curled up in a beanbag, so
Yeah,
I'm
you
making
were.
progress.
It's okay, buddy. You're making good
I was
progress.
the mascot that day.
You went
Yeah,
from
that's right.
you went from being the mascot to the world record holder. I'd say that's pretty good there.
But,
That's
we
reason
did-
for celebration.
Yeah,
Yep.
we did actually save the fish, so the fish is still frozen over at 7 Seas, and we're going to be sending it down this week to get Gray's taxidermy to mount it.
Oh, awesome.
That would be cool. Put a plaque under it or
Yeah,
something.
the
That's
plaque,
cool.
so-
Are you going to put it at 7 Seas?
No, it's going to be over my dining room table.
There you go.
IGFA world record Capitan Sprinkles.
Sprinkles. It's funny because everybody posted, everybody shared the post about Will Sanchilli and his world record. And everybody goes, congrats, Captain Sprinkles. Congrats, Captain Sprinkles. My son, we're coming in Sunday. We came over Sunday. I can't remember why we came over, but we were coming in the creek and y'all were leaving out, and he starts hollering, Captain Sprinkles! Captain Sprinkles! And I'm like, dude, Russ is like the president of the Captain Sprinkles fan club.
Aren't you glad I gave you that nickname?
Yeah,
buddy?
let's give Q a shout out for giving me that nickname 3 years ago.
You know what? We all love some sprinkles on our ice cream, don't we?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, that's right.
We all love them. We all love them. Well, listen, man, we couldn't be any more proud of you. I think I speak for all of us here. We are super proud of you, buddy. And
Well, like I said on my post, it's a team effort.
it's definitely a
to have
team
it right
effort.
here and-
But I'm going to say this much. I have respect for only charter fishermen that work their butts off. And every single person here does. You're one of them. And you work exceptionally hard. And I say that in the sense that on your days off, you go fishing. You do. You spend time on the water and you try to figure out the fish. You try to... What do you got over there? That is like... What is in the little thing?
That's the juice.
Oh.
That's
This
the,
is
the,
great.
The puff puff hippie.
Oh, I see what. Yeah, there we go.
Smoked vape juice. There we go.
Oh yeah, the vape juice, and then we got tequila, and good lord.
So while we all are talking about pet peeves, let me.
All right, let's hear your pet
yeah,
peeve
let's
before
hear
you
it,
leave
Frank.
us.
We ain't
Let's
started
go.
yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's start it now.
Yes.
Nick's got a fresh bottle of tequila.
Yep.
It's
Oh, we're
time
ready
for
to
some
roll.
pet peeves on the boat.
All right,
Let us rip.
all right. First one, bow riding,
Bow riding.
especially on my boat. How you can walk all the way up to the front.
Yeah.
Yep.
When I tell people, I'm like, all right, please sit down on a beanbag, and people want to stand up at the very front of the boat while we're running, and will not sit down. That bothers me.
Why?
I don't like it. I like people to sit down because I don't go slow in the ocean. I like cruising,
I hear
and
you.
when we hit a wave, I want people to be sitting.
No,
Okay,
man.
okay, that's fair.
Send them in the air 1 or 2 times. Let them smack their
Yeah.
tail.
And they'll learn.
And they
Yeah.
will learn.
That's a self-correcting problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
But for a little bit of a safety concern, especially jetties and stuff like that, I hear you. But
Let me rattle off another one while we're at it.
okay,
Yep.
keep firing them. Keep firing them.
Please, when you're on a boat and we're going fast, please hold on to your hat.
Oh,
Please hold on.
the hat.
Yeah.
But
The
you,
I
hat.
turned around 6 times the other day.
but you know what?
I would have turned around after the second one.
I am not a Clemson fan, and that is the only hat that I won't turn around for.
What?
I tell them that when they have a Clemson hat on, and I tell them to turn it backwards.
That's
and
okay.
they
I
don't.
say the same thing about Carolina hats. So.
I tell them I'm not turning around for that hat when it comes off.
I make it part of my safety speech to put the hats and glasses in sport mode because I will lose them. Now, I had a really good record until the other day. It was an Alabama hat. It was one of my really good climbs.
Let it sink.
And it flew off, and I spun around in my Williamson turn. I don't know, whatever it was.
Well,
Did a hard turn. I get ready to get on it, and a boat wake comes and like knocks the boat a little bit over, and it kind of goes underneath the boat.
oh, and he never came back up.
And we just watched it just come back, and I put it in reverse, and when I put it in reverse, it went bloop, sunk like a rock.
Oh.
I said, "Daggum."
Well-
he goes, man, I bought 2 of those hats when I went to the last Alabama game.
So he wasted his money twice then, huh?
Yeah, he said, my wife spilled red wine on the other one, white Alabama hat.
All right, Sprinkles, you're going to be one of the few here that can cover anything for offshore fishing. Let's talk about it. Well, you don't have any pet peeves for offshore guys? Like,
Well, let me open up my book here. So, bottom fishing 101. Please, when you're reeling up your rod and reel with your 12-ounce bank sinker, let's try not to swing the bank sinker into the side of the boat.
BAM!
Dude, I have 2 easy ways to fix that. Number 1, when they hit the first time, you tell them, I give them 3 strikes. After the 3rd strike, I have two rules, or not 2 rules, 2 ways to fix it. They do it again, take the rod and reel, wrap it up, set a 5-minute timer.
Timeout.
Put him in timeout. You put a grown man in timeout in front of his friends.
Demasculated.
Oh
Tuck
my
his tail.
God, he will never touch another boat with a weight ever again.
Yep.
Especially if it's a bachelor party and it's the groom.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah, buckle up. And then I tell him, look, man, I don't go to your truck and I don't throw 12-ounce weights at your truck. I said, so I expect you to have the same respect for my boat.
My boat.
Every time you hit it from now on, and this goes for everybody. I want everybody listening. Every time we go up, I'm tallying it down, and I will literally mark it on my phone. That is 5 minutes off your trip, and we will go in early.
That's awesome.
That's a good one. That's
Yep.
a good one.
I love it,
I
Q.
have a 0 tolerance policy.
I'm going to
I
tell
can't
you,
stand
when
it.
it comes to that and leads, people are just idiots sometimes.
Yep.
They are. Like, I love the guy who reels the rod up and says, man, I'm going to go get a drink real quick, and sets his rod in the rod holder.
And leaves the weight
And,
swinging around like
and
a
you
pendulum.
walk over and it clunks you upside the head. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Those were always the worst.
Yep. Yeah, that's another one.
Okay, so the other day, offshore, and I asked, we had something going on. They're like, hey man, how can I help? I said, reel the line in, long line. I definitely don't want to reel that son of a bitch in. Long. Nope. And I said, hey man, just leave it in the rod holder, reel, just use your thumb, and walk the line back and forth across the spool. I don't know how much simpler I can make that.
Yeah, very easy.
He gets, I don't know, 2/3 of the way in. He said, the reel won't turn anymore. He said, I'm trying. And he's putting some oomph into it. And it is all balled up right in the
Yep.
middle. I'm like, oh my
Lord.
God, you've just made more work for me. I understand you're trying to help, but I swear to you.
You got to dump it all the way back out.
Yeah,
and redo
yeah,
it.
yeah. And then Lord knows if there's a piece in that line that's so you got to redo the whole top shot. I swear that dude, he could have messed up a wet dream. All right, sorry.
No.
Any
No, we got
let's keep
tons.
going on here. I'm getting my blood pressure's going
getting
up.
Hey,
Um,
hey, Chris and Jason, y'all be thinking about your pet peeves.
I'll tell you one that I deal with nonstop. People slamming the damn hatches.
Yes.
Ooh.
Don't slam the damn hatch.
I agree.
That
Let me
drives
tell you
nuts.
a quick way to fix that is let their fingers get caught in it.
It never happens. I hope for it.
I know.
It doesn't happen. I tell them when they
So
get
when
on
you're
the
sitting there
boat,
with your fingers crossed, you're not hoping for a fish?
No,
You're
it's over
hoping
for
the fingers
the,
get
the
in
hatch
there?
to close on them.
I hope they miss a fish and slam their finger. Don't
I
slam the
agree
damn
with you.
hatch. It's not that hard.
I say it all the time.
I show them how to close the hatch, how to close the live well, and if I hear it bang, it drives me up the wall.
Time out.
Don't slam the damn hatch.
Okay.
I agree.
How about this one, boys? It's reeling on like a Carolina rig or a jig head.
All the way to the tip.
Yep, reeling it. And you just hear it go into
Stop.
the rod tip. Oh my
All right.
god.
I'm gonna tell a story. Keep going. Keep
I
going.
want to figure out a way to develop like a little piece of like maybe not styrofoam.
You need a piece of
noodle.
foam or something.
Yeah, so it protects the rod tip so that weight doesn't hit. But bring your rod tip up out of the water. Like
Yeah,
people
I
just
had-
sit there with their rod tips
Oh, yeah.
in the water and
Well,
and
the bad thing is when they do that and they're like, all right, Captain, I need bait. I'm like, I can't get to the end of the rod. My arm is 8 feet long. I said, you gotta let some line.
Oh,
first."
yeah.
How do I let mine out, Captain?
Yeah,
Oh.
they want you to bait the hook, and instead of handing you the end of the rod where the hook is, they hand you the reel.
Yep.
I don't need the
That's
reel.
it.
I need the hook.
Okay, here's one that I will absolutely not stand for at all, at any way, shape, and form. It's when they dangle a hook when you're doing
Oh,
something.
God.
And
Oh.
they need a bait, and they
Yep.
dangle the hook in front of Captain.
Just like
In
you're
front
a
of your
fish.
face.
Captain, I need a bait.
Captain.
I had a little girl. She couldn't remember, like, she was really little. Oh, she remembered. She goes, I can't remember your name. Employee. Employee.
I
need a
remember
bait.
this story. Employee.
I need a bait.
She called
Employee.
McClure employee.
Yeah.
Yep.
She called me and my mate, employee.
Oh, my
Employee,
God.
I need a bait. And I had a dude sitting on the front of my boat and puts it through my console,
Oh, God.
over the steering wheel, over the back seat, where I'm by the well, and goes, Captain, I need a bait.
They start doing that enough. I just ignore them. Like, so like y'all have mates and y'all do. It's like I'm usually by myself. So
Yeah.
I tell people like, guys, I'm a one man show. I said I will get to you when I can.
Just
Yeah.
a little
So,
patience.
Stay patient.
Another thing is when they try to walk in between the wheel and, when they're behind the helm.
Yep.
That's my area. I don't want you hitting the throttle. You're going to throw everybody off, which might be a blessing at some point. But don't walk in between there. Like, that's my spot. That's where I work. Don't try to cut through. Don't stand there when I'm walking back and forth from the front to the back. Just get the hell out of the way.
Yep.
It's not hard.
I tell
we have
people
24 feet. Find somewhere to go. Don't go behind the steering wheel.
Yeah, I tell people don't get near the steering wheel or the throttle because I had someone fall into the throttle the other day and
It happens all the time.
Yep.
I don't know how.
Okay,
it
what gets me and almost really got me is I was offshore. I was like 15 miles off the beach, and I shut the motor. I was on anchor, shut the motor off, and through all the rigmarole of fishing, somebody had leaned against the rock and knocked it just barely in.
Where you couldn't get it to start.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it to start.
You're like,
I'm freaking
no.
out. It took me probably 25 minutes, and I had gone through everything in the entire book of what I knew how to get this, and I couldn't get nothing. And I was getting ready to call somebody. And finally, I put my hand on the steering wheel and put my forehead in my hand, and I kind of look over, and notice the throttle's just a little off. And this is back when I had the camera on, so
Yeah.
barely. And I wiggled it,
Yep.
and I started right over. I said, all right, boys, we're going to the hill. Let's go.
I've been there. I've been there. You mentioned the reeling it up to the tip of the rod, and I was going to talk about that.
When I hear that sound in my sleep,
it makes me.
All right.
I will literally jump out of bed trying to pull the damn weight
So-
off the tip.
So I'm going to explain to people the importance of that, real quick. So McLovin and I fish the King tournaments together, and we were fishing our next to last King tournament, Jollymon, and I have 5 King rods that I've invested a lot of money for me in. Okay, and we started noticing that one of the rods had continual frayed line on it. And I was like, dude, what's up? And so McLovin, looked at me and said, Tony, remember? Tony. And I'm thinking, so we go all the way back to last year in October. Tony kept reeling my frigging King rigs into the eye of the rod. Well, he had chipped
One of
the
ceramic
inside of the ceramic insert.
Oh all it needs is a
which
stick.
made that line fray, which made if we had caught a big fish on that rod, we'd have lost it.
So, you want to change your life forever? What you do is you take a cotton ball or the little eyes, a Q-tip. And you
That's what
run
I
it
use
on
as a
that
Q-tip.
ceramic.
Yep.
And if there's a nick in there, the cotton will snag. And
Yep.
it's very clear to see. But the bigger eyes, I use a cotton ball. And before every tournament,
That's how we found it,
that is
with the
one-
Q-tip.
Yep, that is one of the first things. I do that, make sure all the bilges are working, make sure there's no corrosion in the pumps. You know, I have a laundry list of before tournament activities that I will do before every tournament, and I check every single rod before a tournament.
Well, we're talking about a guy who should know better. And I'm talking about my dear friend Tony. And
I'll be honest with you.
he should know better.
I did it the other day. I was excited, and I
weren't
reeled it
thinking
up
about
right
it.
to the damn rod
Yep.
tip. I mean,
Well,
you
it's not
get
just
excited.
that.
I get it.
It's your customers that, you know, they want to help you out, and they put the hook in the eye.
Oh boy, that's a no-go for me.
Yeah.
All right, there's your. Keep going. I should shut up, but
And I appreciate the help. I appreciate that you
Yep.
want to help me reel up the rods, get them ready to go. But why can't you hook it on the foot, or why can't you hook it where it's supposed to go on the
eye
catch?
hooker.
Yeah,
Catch thing.
Yep.
down by the reel.
See, I don't have
Don't-
ceramic eyes on my rod.
you don't.
So-
That's smart.
So it doesn't matter as much. Just by habit, it goes on. I think
What do you
what's
have,
it called?
stainless?
Bridge? Yeah, it's all stainless.
Is it the bridge?
What's it? I thought
I don't know what is it called.
That would make sense.
I don't know. I've always called it the bridge, but put it on the bridge.
Or that hook holder that's amazing. That's on most of our rods.
See,
Like,
mine, they made it. I love these rods. It's the ugly stuff.
but they don't have it on there.
They have it. But
I pulled
it's
them
in
all out.
front.
I pulled
So
them
every
out.
time you cast,
Oh, it gets
it
snagged.
gets stuck.
Oh,
so
I-
you gotta yank them all out.
Yep.
They're worthless.
I've used
Or
that
it's
rod.
either that, or when they bend the tip so far over because they're trying to hook it on the second eyelet.
Just the tip.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give my seat up to the one and only Flounder Pounder here because I know he's got plenty. And then Sprinkles, if you want to, you can give your seat up there to
One more.
I don't know. You're on a
One
roll.
more.
Cat
I'm
Robert.
gonna
You're
call
on a
you
roll.
Butter.
You stay right there.
I'm gonna
Hey,
call
we
you
got
Butter
plenty of
from
time.
here on out because you're on a roll.
We're gonna
tonight.
shuffle out. Look at my dog right here. Look at my dog. He has got pizza,
Man, he brought me a beer. What?
double
How nice.
double Corona, a pizza. My dog is ready.
He said, "Buckle up, Buttercup.
Buckle
I
up.
got some pet peeves."
I can't imagine the pet peeves coming out of this man's mouth because your pet peeves not only should concern your charters, but also your captains.
Oh,
And I'm
he's
gonna
got
leave
some
it with
stories
that.
about me.
Fuel burn. Fuel burn.
Oh.
Fuel burn.
I never burned any fuel. I don't know what you're talking about.
Son, OPEC has burned less fuel than your ass. Talking about pet peeves, my God.
Fuel.
Let me tell you about Sprinkle's first year driving the old Wow thing. You know, Sprinkles is what I like to refer to as a ladies' man.
Do you want tequila before you hear this?
Yeah. or a man of many ladies, whichever one you want to see.
Oh, yeah.
So, all I know is it was brutally honest. And, I can appreciate the honesty, but, Snapchat's a great thing. But when you get a Snapchat of your captain driving around at midnight with a bunch of damn hookers on the boat, and you're like, damn, there's like a little bit of jealousy. You're like, shit, that used to be me. Now I gotta be responsible and shit. So, it's fun. But yeah, fuel and Sprinkles go to hand very well. So, like me and Corona and me and pizza. And
All right, Jason. What's in all your years? What's your biggest thing on the boat that just people do and it drives you up the wall?
we ain't got enough damn time.
All right, let's
No,
just
this
start.
has to be a two-part session right here.
Start firing some off.
It's I don't know. It's hard to say because you don't really got it. had a little pepperoni on my cheek.
Little dessert.
There's so many like little things. I've been doing this a long time. I mean, when I started running charters, I don't even think
Who's empty?
Party foul.
I don't even think gasoline was invented yet. They were all diesel boats. So.
How about leaving trash on the deck of the boat?
Oh my god.
See, out
That's
of all
not as
things,
bad.
Now what does just drive me up the wall is when kids drop
Doritos
or like
chips.
Cheetos,
Sunflower
anything
seeds.
with that orange
Oh,
sunflower
sunflower
seeds
seeds.
because they get
Yep.
fucking drained, and I gotta
And you-
pick them each out one by one, and then they spit it, and then it sticks on the side of the boat, and then it dries, and it stays there. God,
Yep.
If I see him doing that, I take the sunflower that bag away from him.
I would rather them be dipping on the boat and spitting the boat than
100%.
than do
At least that
sunflower
goes
seeds.
down the drain.
See, that goes to I think one of my all-time pet peeves is fucking Joe Camel. Joe Camel, the damn, your typical, just picture that guy with no shirt.
Yeah.
He's got jeans on that are smuggling more than he could ever ask for. I mean, this guy is rubbing rashes on both sides of the family. And he's sitting there just steady smoking and ashing on my boat. And his steps on it. So then, you know how I am. I like a clean, it's weird. I don't have a clean house. I don't have a clean car. I don't have, anything clean. My boat,
Big Red's not clean?
Huh?
Big Red's not clean?
Look,
organized.
Big
Big
Red.
Red's just happy to be running.
Big Red is running for president this year because it's the last year she can because this joker has been rode hard, put up
now
wet.
my question is, why don't you have antique tags on Old Red?
Well, I did get discounted car insurance for high mileage.
That's because there's only half left.
For those of
I
our
don't even know about that.
For those of our listeners that don't understand what Big Red is, it is a 2005 Dodge Ram that came from Canada. True story. It was previously owned by a boat captain. I'm talking about, you've seen less rust on anything that you've ever seen. I mean, it has no fenders.
We can literally
You
take.
can find Jason anywhere in the world because you look down the road and you just follow the rust.
Yeah.
trail going
You
down.
can literally take. You can be eating fast food, crumble up the wrapper, drop it in his floor.
Yeah.
It goes through his floor, and you can watch it bounce by.
This is a true story that is going to incriminate me on many levels. I had to take a road trip. This was before I had, Big Red had to go. And once I learned that once you go over 60 miles an hour, I felt a random gust of wind going on my leg. I lifted up the floor mat, and sure as shit, there's a hole in the floor. So what does Jason think? Well, okay.
Duct tape.
No, I did duct tape it. But I had a little trip. Scotty Whitten can vouch for it. He was not there, but he understands. And you ever had those road trips where you just got to really piss really bad? No harm, no foul.
Keep on trucking.
If you pee in a shower drain, you can pee in Big Red's floor, and it will not be there when you're done. A little splash and a little fluff.
I'll remember that next time I'm in it.
Yeah. That was a long time
Is it
ago.
driver's side or passenger
It was
side?
driver's side.
Driver's side?
Yeah.
There's got to be one on the passenger side.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought as a joke I was going to actually cut it out and put a shower drain right there. So that way, if you spill a drink or, something happens. But yeah, Big Red's got a lot of rust. And I went to a mechanic, I believe, like 2 years ago, and they told me that they wouldn't change the oil because it was too much liability, that their shop would burn down if they touched it. And she's still running.
So, okay. So your truck isn't clean is what we're getting.
Yeah. I like clean boats.
So go back to Joe Camel.
Mm.
It's just the ashen.
Okay,
you got to wash down hose quick.
God, I'm telling you,
The ash don't
those
bother
guys, and I'm not dissing anybody, but 1990s, movies gave these, schmoes the impression that they could talk to you with a cigarette in their mouth. They're talking, the joke's wiggling like, and yeah. And then they ash on your deck, and then they step on it, and of course they show up with a damn work boot. So halfway through the charter, it looks like a damn Mississippi mud puddle, and it's just like, I like it clean. So then I spray it off with the wash down. I'll, in between fish when nobody's looking, I hit it with a brush. And a guy will look at me and go, "Boy, you ain't used to your boat being dirty, are you?" And I say, "All right, Alabama. Here's another Marlboro Red." Excuse me?
I'm reading that.
Oh, you reading it?
How about dip?
It's
I had a
got
guy
pictures.
spill a whole can of dip the other day.
Okay, there's definitely some issues there. Oh, in your crock? Oh.
You had a guy spit. We're talking to Robert. Robert had some guy spit in his crop.
A whole can of dip fell in my crock.
Ooh, whole can of dip in
I
the
bet you
crock.
didn't hit the vape the rest of the day, did you?
No, again, I can hit that with the wash down, and it goes down the drain.
I'm
it's
good with that.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me a whole lot. Don't get me wrong, I don't want you slobbering dip juice on my boat.
Well, the
but-
guy was wiping it, trying to wipe it with his shoe. And
Oh.
it smeared.
I bet he had
everywhere.
cowboy boots on.
He did have cowboy boots.
Told you.
Yep.
That's Joe Camel. That's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's like a simple one.
I would still much rather any tobacco product on my boat fucking Doritos or Cheetos.
Yeah. What's
Because that orange, it's a pain in the ass.
What are those things we used to eat when we were kids, like the sweet stick with the powder? That
Pixie
you would-
stick.
Pixie sticks.
Yeah, I had
Or no, Fun Dip.
Fun Dip. That's what
Fun
it is.
Dip.
I had a whole pack of Fun Dip spill the other day.
Oh, those are good.
Ooh, that's interesting because,
Yeah.
like,
Speaking of Fun Dip.
Migraine.
They're flying.
wouldn't the sugar, like, start to kind of
It kind of gummed up and it was just sticky and.
No, the worst is when you get the guy that just, worked an 18-hour shift in a mill and shows up in his work boots and he's got some type of black shit on the bottom of his shoes that when he gets on the boat and tries to get off, the boat holds him down. And then he has to pull it off, and it's
kind of like when you do an oil change on my boat.
yeah.
That is messy.
But I tell you another little pet peeve just thinking about it, and this is
Spray
a simple.
sunscreen.
Not anymore. The Key West doesn't show like the Sea Hunt
No.
do.
The damn sea hunt sure as hell does.
Oh, Sea Hunt. I mean,
Yeah, Yellowfin does too.
yeah.
Yellow
yeah.
everywhere.
Just in general, guys, if anybody's listening and doesn't know anything about boats, don't go on a boat with any aerosol can. Any spray sunscreen.
If you are,
Bug
bring
spray.
sunblock.
Or if you do, I tell people, like, if they bring sunscreen, like spray sunscreen, like, do it at the dock before we leave.
I'll tell them to spray it in their hand and apply it that way.
Yeah, but
But I will tell you, the Sunbum spray does not show up orange on boats. I don't know what the hell ingredient they don't have.
I'm gonna test that on the sea hunt.
The Sea Hunt is like a picture from up above. Like, if somebody lays down and sprays themselves, there's literally like a body count on the
yeah,
ground.
it
Yeah.
looks like they got lined in chalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just another little small pet peeve, and this is just one that I find myself, snapping accidentally at charters. Before I take off, I say, all right, guys, we're going to hop on plane. Y'all got all your stuff secure? And there'll be one damn can. One damn can that you'll hear.
Rattle.
You'll hear rattle, 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 and it gets in that vortex in the front. So when you're driving, it's like ta-ding, 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 ta-ding. And I find myself all the time, I'll pull it off plane and say, could somebody please grab a damn can? And I'm thinking to myself, that's not a big deal, but like, that noise just drives me insane. Front to back, spin around.
I cannot say anything about that because I have a cup holder right beside my head, and if my drink is less than halfway, it gets sucked out, and heaven help the person that's sitting behind it.
See, I like watching them try to catch it in midair as it's flying around.
All right, so
It does fly around.
two stories about that. The first one is on my boat when I first got it and started running Crazy Girl 2. I kept hearing this don't.
And the
Don't.
T-top.
Don't. And it would only happen when the boat went straight up and came straight down. It was rough and like we were going back and forth and going side to side. It wouldn't do it. But on like a calm day when you hit a boat wake, you go to the boat wake, you go straight up and straight down, you hear don't. And what it sounded like was that a screwdriver got stuck in the piping of the T-top with the rubber handle, and it would go up and go straight down.
Yep.
If it went to the side, it would. What it was that dang
So relocate?
a couple screws backed out, and the T-top, the one leg would come up and set on the deck of the boat.
I got you.
I'm not kidding you.
I
I was going offshore the one day, and I probably pulled the boat back off plane and started tapping.
Was that when I was with you? Wasn't it? Because I was mating with you on the 8-hour that one day.
Yeah.
And Q was losing his mind. He's like, we don't figure out what this damn sound is.
I understand.
Shit.
Oh my god, yeah, but it was, I couldn't figure out where, if there's a weird rattle or a weird sound on the boat and I can't figure out what it is or what it's coming from, it drives me up the wall.
There's little sounds like that or like that. I'll give you another prime example, like in my wife's car, which the word cup holder is there for a reason. That doesn't mean pile all your shit in the cup holder. But she puts stuff in her cup holder, so then you put your drink in a cup holder, and typically it's like change or something. And you'll be driving down the road, and that can gets empty, and it just ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, all right, what's
Sure, that's what
rattling?
your exhaust on the Big Red?
Big Red's exhaust was gone in the year 2020.
So
It got COVID, and it's gone.
So I made it on a boat for a mate had to step out. He needed a day off. I can't remember what it was, but I made it on the boat for like 3 days in a row. And this mate had piled all of his junk, weights, hooks, swivels, you name it, in the damn cup holders.
I was just looking at Jason.
I will do that.
My gosh,
I
there
will
was
do
no
that to us.
organization. It was 6 3/4. It didn't. I mean, it was all over the place. There was no organization. It was just rusty hooks, good hooks, swivels with tag ends on each side. Oh my God! Trying to find dang weight and hook and everything I needed. Drove
I'm guilty.
me
Yeah.
I'll do
crazy.
that, but I only, once I get like a break and I get like some time to where I don't have an afternoon or something, I go through it, I clean it out. But I do that, but no more than a handful.
Oh no! This was 2 cup holders in the back of nothing but weights and hooks.
Oh yeah, I can't do that.
Oh.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that giggle?
Yeah.
Sprinkle started running wild thing.
Oh, I helped you clean that?
Yeah. I went down there for somebody who likes a clean boat. I walked on the boat, looked at him, looked at Sprinkles, and it was all I could do not to choke his ass out. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sitting there.
Plastic cup holder.
Oh
I
yeah.
had a cup
He
full
had
of-
like a leftover like liquor cup from Drunken Jack's.
No. It was the sub in the compartment.
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah, he had like
that old Subway.
Yeah, it was
sub
like
that
a-
you left in the compartment.
It was like a parent raided a 14-year-old fucking house.
Oh my god.
I'm telling you, he had a Subway sub that was like 3 years old.
Hold on, can we talk about how he always left shrimp?
Oh.
Okay, another
Listen,
pet peeve.
look, I've come a long way.
A sub. If you take a sub on a boat, avoid the lettuce.
Oh yeah, let's.
Please,
It's
please
bad for you
avoid
anyways.
the lettuce.
What's wrong with the lettuce?
Nick, you don't eat
Have you ever
anything
tried to
green.
eat a sub with lettuce on the boat?
Yeah, it makes it crunchy.
Yeah, but it
It
goes
flies
all over
everywhere.
the place. Yeah, no, avoid the lettuce.
Shredded lettuce.
Yeah, the shredded lettuce.
Oh, I'm thinking like a firehouse, like a
No.
whole sheet of
No,
lettuce.
I'm
Like
talking about the
public
shredded
sub.
lettuce. Yeah, it always ends up on the damn boat. It always goes everywhere.
It's really good.
Yeah, just do meat, cheese, maybe a tomato. That's fine. Avoid the shredded lettuce on the boat. Shredded lettuce.
but-
Also, learning from experience, I tried to take one of those little pre-made salads on an offshore trip one day.
Does that not work?
No. I opened.
I
it
just
up.
bought one yesterday. I was gonna try it.
So I was running. We were going. We stopped trolling, going bottom fishing. And I opened up that salad.
Oh, yeah.
And it all just went.
You had Parmesan. I bet you had Parmesan cheese everywhere.
No, it
I had-
went overboard.
Oh, shit.
It wasn't even recoverable.
I had the same-
The lettuce, the cheese, just everything. I pulled that like plastic bat off the top.
Oh yeah.
I had the
That
same
junker
thing
ended up
happen.
eating like 3 croutons.
I had
I didn't even
this.
get a cruise. I mean, it was the whole shooting match went up and overboard.
Sprinkles is trying to tell us that he eats salads. I don't
No, I was
believe.
gonna say I had the same thing happen to me with a charcuterie board. Am I saying that right?
Hoochie coochie board.
board.
Charcuterie
Yeah.
board, yeah, with all the crackers and everything.
Yeah.
Shout out to Renee for that.
everywhere.
What about it? Your cooterie board just flew out the window.
Yeah, all the crackers we were moving.
Hmm.
But yes, I did used to keep all my little half-ounce bank, all my little sinkers in the couple.
I don't see how you would ever run out. I mean, he had more lead on the boat than you could possibly ever use.
That's why the boat rode so good. It was so heavy.
Oh yeah.
He needed more aft trim.
That's the ones he put in his pocket to keep them flying out.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
instead of trim tab, you just picked up a handful and put it in the other cup.
He just moved the cup from the right to left holder. Fat ass on the starboard side. Let's put this cup on the left. That's another thing that pisses me off. If you look, I am what I would like to say a large. I wear extra large, a 2X shirt for a reason. I'm a big boy. I am. I am. I
I ain't
am.
seen an XL since middle school.
Maybe not even then. But I'm conscious of my weight. As a guide, when I go from one side of the boat with no power poles down, I understand that if I go fast, somebody's going swimming. So I tiptoe. Look here. If you're a big boy, and your girl's a big girl, and your brother's a big boy, and all 3 of y'all are sitting on one side of the boat, and that son of a bitch is laid over, and you don't understand that you should probably spread out, that's one of my pet peeves.
How about
This son of a bitch will be running. It's like a one-legged duck swimming in a pond. I mean, we're sitting here cutting donuts. And it's like, hey, guys, if y'all would just simply go to the other side of the boat, we could go straight.
Yeah. How about like when you're running and you get your trim tab set, especially like with me, I'm making these long runs.
Yeah.
You
And
have your
somebody
trim tab,
moves.
and someone moves and it just offsets it. It's just like, please stay in your spot.
Nah, that's enough. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
2 buttons. And
Yeah,
then-
but
then
when
you
they
go.
constantly do it for an hour.
Yeah, that's
After the second time, I'd be like, look, you need to sit down while this daggone boat's in motion. It's for your own safety, and I would come up with something stupid.
So here's what gets me. It might be an unpopular opinion, but like aggressively old people on the boat.
Are you talking about cotton tops?
I mean, no, okay, top and tops, and like some of the trips I've had this year, I have been like, it's taken us longer to get people, not even down the ramp, just from the dock into the boat. I'm sorry, but if you cannot lift your leg by yourself, if you have to have
He's
somebody
definitely
help
barking up the wrong tree
That's
today.
what
lift your leg and put it in the boat. Like, maybe a fishing trip isn't for you.
That's what we
Yeah,
got.
see,
that's
I
what we
did-
got
Like if
Turk
you
for.
can't, if
Turk's
you
been
can't
helping everyone.
stand and cast and then sit down,
So you're telling me when you're old, you're a cotton top, you got nothing to do but watch like the news and bitch about current events,
Look.
and somebody says you want to
He
go
does that
fishing, but
now.
you can't pick your leg up.
I mean, look, if you can't get in a golf cart by yourself, I think that should be the limit step.
Golf
You can
cart's
get-
easy. You don't have to pick your feet up over anything.
Exactly.
But
But
wait a
I've
minute.
had people that I don't think could get in a golf cart.
That
trying to
goes
go
both
fishing.
ways too, though. Like if you have children, there is a point where your children are too young.
You're too young.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
And I've seen so many kids where you can't even teach them or show them. Of course, we want to take the kids. We want them to enjoy it, but
But at a
when
certain
they're
age,
too
they're too
young,
So I have found.
Hell no, strap them to the T-top.
I have found if they're, I would say 6 years old is kind of my litmus. And I'll kind of get one of the parents off the side and say, look, if you want me to babysit, I will sit here, I will entertain, I will play with the mud minnows in the tank with them, no problem. If you want me to be a fishing guide, you babysit the kid, and I'll be a guide. You have to decide what you want me to do, and I will make that trip.
You can't do both.
No, I cannot babysit and be a guide. I cannot do both.
And discipline your damn kids.
Yeah.
Well, as fishing guides,
Goblins.
as fishing guides, you'll notice that I think everybody will agree with this. Sometimes when you get the dads that have taken the kid with no mom supervision, and I'm not bashing, anything like this, but mom's there. It's kind of like, oh, there's a little bit of order. You get that group of dads, it's like
They don't care.
They could care less.
they're like, we just brought 24 beers. Here's our kids. Then you end up like with the kids the whole time, and like dad's like reliving his college days with his buddy up there, and they're pounding beers, and it's like, psst, 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 psst.
Like, you got your kids
You
on
got
the-
kids on the boat.
It's
you
not.
know,
Well, it's not our job to tell the kids, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. You need to discipline them damn kids.
I'll go ahead and tell you a little miniature war story that came about probably the second year I was captain. I don't know that I've ever told this story, and I got in deep shit for this one because I worked for somebody. I was a paid captain, but I had a little kid on the boat, and like your knife pliers holder thing, I used to keep my fillet knife there. I had a little kid on the boat, and if I remember correctly, his name was Charlie. And he not that kid.
Okay.
Not that one. That's a whole different story. But Charlie ran over there and kept pushing the buttons. He kept turning my damn lava off. And I looked at him. I said, dude, stop touching buttons. I said, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. He reaches in there and picks up my fillet knife and goes, I'm going to stab my sister. And I said, put down my fillet knife. And the parents looked at me, and I said, hey, parents, your kid's running around with a damn fillet knife. The lady had the audacity to look at me, and she goes, don't tell me how to raise my kids. And my knee-jerk reaction, I said, well, get the hell off my boat then. So, and I worked for somebody. That was not taken very lightly. But the bottom line is, as we're riding back to the dock, because I had made the determination to terminate the charter, kid kept running under there, grabbing the fillet knife, going, what you going to do? What you going to do? And the parents were laughing. They said, that's hilarious. That's funny.
No.
And it's like you're in a point where you want to be like, hey, earth the parents. Your kid has a 9-inch fillet knife. He could cut his own hand off. Y'all think this is funny? And but anyways, long story short, filed a complaint against me, bad review, said that I was rude, disrespectful, and the whole time it was like, am I the only person on planet Earth that thinks that your 7-year-old child shouldn't run around with a fillet knife in their hand? So, anyways, long story short, so that was a prime example of, parents that were there to have a good time, but they didn't give two shits.
That's why I've started putting all my knives up either high or like inside the console where they can't find them.
Yeah, oh god. That's what we call bad behaved kids. Either semen demons if they're really little, or cross problems. I had one that I put him in a life jacket and I put him on the seat next to me, and I took the little zip ties and zip tied the life jacket to the seat so he couldn't run around and couldn't move.
How'd that work out?
It was great. He loved it. It was the best. Oh, God. I could have killed him. I can't remember exactly what he did that just, I lost it, and I started screaming and started crying. And then he really started acting bad. But I definitely, made him cry. And I didn't even feel bad about it. That's how bad it was. I made a kid cry and didn't feel bad about it. I don't care who does this. And I put him he was in a life jacket. His parents wanted him in a life jacket. I sat in there, zip tied him. I said, man, when you get out of this, then you can come fishing again. And he had so much fun swarming around trying to get them 2 hours.
It's just probably a preview of adult life when they put the cuffs on him,
Straight jacket.
And that says something. If Q's getting upset with a kid, that says something.
Yeah, I have the patience of a saint.
Well, I mean,
But God, he did something, and it was constant. And oh God, it might have been like pulling the live well out, the plug out,
Oh,
yeah.
like the third time.
And all the mud minutes go down the drain.
Well,
Stop.
for us redheaded people, that's called a ginger snap.
Yeah. I ginger snapped.
We are patient, but when you hit that limit,
God.
it is game over.
That's
God, I had another badly behaved kid, and it was a dad, older son, and the youngest son, and his name was Atlas. When I remember a kid's name like that, like
That's a bad one.
that's a bad one. And we were live bait Spanish fishing, so fish with sharp teeth, gaff, treble hooks. Every rod that just, I mean, if the wind blew hard enough, you move the rod tip, that's a fish. He'd grab the rod. I'm like, no, it's not. When you have a fish on, I will hand you the rod and tell you to start reeling. And then he wouldn't, he tried to be under my feet when I'm trying to get treble hooks out of these Spanish and gaff. And I'm like I almost gaffed him twice. I got a treble hook in his hair. Had to get the treble hook out of his hair. He just wouldn't get out of my way. Wouldn't get out from my
swing.
Wouldn't stop ripping rods out of the rod holder because he thought there was a fish on.
It's funny to say that. I was literally just about to bring up Spanish fishing with planers.
Yeah.
Robert fishing.
We need to get Robert on here. Robert, you got some more stories?
Yeah, pet peeves. What are your pet peeves that we haven't covered?
Oh, let me slide in spring.
Here, he can grab mine. No, you're good.
You just take out?
Here, we're going to put Captain Robert Orr.
Oh, gosh.
Fish finder.
With the fish finder.
Crazy sister Marina.
Yep.
And
Jason, you gonna eat that pizza? What are you doing with it?
Why do you think I'm handing the damn mic away? I got a pizza and a
You
beer.
still got a
today.
pizza that you haven't finished.
Freaking dissecting.
Not anymore.
hey, if you're available to move, you want to get a PBR for old Captain Q ball?
Oh, gotta have a PBR for a cue ball.
Big culture.
Daiquiri.
Hey,
What?
BEERUN.
Beer run.
What up? I don't know. I've been listening about the pet peeves, and I honestly, I'll be
You want a
honest,
fucking daiquiri?
I don't have a lot of pet peeves. The
Strawberry?
Yeah.
The boat gets dirty.
Banana?
Kids run around like crazy. Now, I will say a couple things about the kids. Normally,
Chris, go,
when I
here, you gotta get
see
on.
it coming, you can see.
You don't have a pet peeve?
You can see the kid on the dock running around in circles around his parents.
Before you even
And
board.
you're, and
Before
you're, and
you
you're,
even board.
and you're all down there like, I hope that's not my trip.
Yeah, exactly. I try to nip it in the bud as soon as it gets on
Chris,
board.
you need
How do you do
Fix
that?
spring.
You can't just look there and tell them.
Well, so
Calm
my
the hell
biggest
down.
thing is, I tell the parents, I say, look, especially with the younger ones like you was talking about, the ones that are not as capable, I make them understand this trip just got turned into focused on him. We can't go out the jetties because of him. We can't do this because of him. This is a him trip. I focus on the kids and make the parents understand, sorry.
That's handyman Rob right there.
Yeah.
Well,
Been handyman towel.
I said, I'll tell them. I said, look, if you want to, Dad, you want to bring the guys? We'll go do some serious fishing.
Yeah.
But if this kid doesn't have a fish on the hook every 10 seconds and he's running around in circles, we're grinding croakers.
Yeah.
Period. I'll put the smallest hooks I got and we'll wear out a pound of shrimp real fast. That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all we can do because I'm going to keep them busy. I'm going to keep them happy. Ultimately, even though they may be rambunctious kids, I do eventually want them to come back and have a good time. Think of it as a positive experience. I caught a lot of fish. They don't know the difference between the.
It's good for them to have a good time.
No,
Yeah,
I agree.
it is.
I agree.
But the parents have to understand we're sitting here grinding croakers. You can't expect reds and flounders and cobies, kings, and et cetera, et cetera.
Your kids can't catch that. They're not
Yeah.
going to be
The
able
way
it's
the way
not
I
a
think
chance.
about it is here's the deal. The adults, they're gonna stop talking about the trip, 2-3 weeks later. If the kids have a good time, they're gonna be talking about it all year.
Oh, more than that, lifetime. I mean,
Lifetime.
especially the younger ones. That time I went and I caught 100 fish. They don't remember what the
They're gonna
fish
go back to
was.
school, tell all their buddies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. But
So a pet peeve of mine with the kids.
Yeah.
That I just thought about, and it happened to me a couple times when parents take a young kid to a farm pond, and it's as soon as they put a worm, or I don't know, freshwater, but it's like
as soon as they dropped it in,
they can catch 100 fish in an hour.
They feel like they're, and that's what my point kind of goes
when you
to.
start a kid with that,
Yeah,
it makes it really
their
tough to
expectations
go
are
on a
just
charge.
Now, as they get older, so I've been very lucky and fortunate. I actually just had a kid come with me last week. He's like, "Here, Cap, this is our picture from 4 years ago." It's like, you put on a couple pounds. Yeah, I did put on a couple pounds. But this is us 4 years ago, and he actually went with my other captain. But, just seeing them grow up, which is cool, and they keep coming back.
Cool,
They get a little bit more serious, and so you kind of hopefully hope that they come back and get more serious. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes we're grinding sharks and sea bass and croakers, and
It is tough when they're spoiled in that far pond now.
Yeah.
seriously.
That's another pet peeve is maybe not for y'all, for me. When people get on the boat and this is South Carolina and they say, "Hey,
Oh yeah,
we live in Alvarado.
Yeah.
This is what we want to do."
All
Should
right.
have stayed your ass back
Do
in
your
Alvarado.
research
So,
on your charter before you book
On
it.
our brochure, or on my brochure, on my sign, on everything that you look at that has anything to do with Fish Finder, there's a list of fish. On that list of fish, there are no tuna.
Nope.
There are no sailfish.
Nope.
There are no grouper.
Nope.
None of that is on my list of fish.
You can't catch those right off the surf?
No. Even snapper, we're sure starting to find them in shore now, but even snapper is not on the list. Those are not listed fish under my normally to be expected fish. But they still get on the boat looking for sails. I know you were out there. We were trolling around for Spanish. Like, oh, when's the sailfish going to hop
Robert
on?
was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Oh, yeah."
You know what's funny? The same trip that I had a Canadian couple, and they're like, "Yeah, we were just down in the Keys, and we caught a couple sails." I was like, "Well, glad you caught them there."
Yeah.
I'm glad you got that off your list.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, pet peeves on a boat, though, besides kids, I don't have a lot because I know there's like the reel into the rod tip. That's a bad one. But for me, especially taking a lot of kids, like our marina has dolphin watch and all this. Like we're more catered to the younger, dynamic. So I get a lot more kids. I've given up on that one. I've given up on a lot of pet peeves, just knowing that like if I set my expectations low, I won't be too disappointed.
Yeah.
But I get every single one of them.
When I have a kids trip, though, like my expectations are not high.
Yeah.
On the box, but it's the group of guys that come up, and when I ask my charters, when I get to my first spot, I start talking to them. All right, guys, how do we rate our fishing level, our fishing experience? And they're like, "Oh, we're 9 out of 10. We all fish a bunch, this, that, and the other," and then they can't cast a spinning rod, or they hold it upside down.
Oh, okay, all right. Upside down is probably, even though it's not a big one, it's probably one of my work because I have no problem. I will change the handle.
Yeah.
It takes 10 seconds.
If that.
10 seconds, I will change the handle for you. Please let me change the handle for you. If you hold it upside down one more time, I'm going to smack you.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my
that's,
God.
And now we
Yes.
have found it.
Yes.
Okay.
We
So
have found
so
it.
the upside down is probably top.
I give you three warnings or 3 reminders.
Yeah.
I tell
after
them
the third
the rod
one,
isn't meant to bend that way.
It's not.
And that's the other thing too is instruction, because a lot of these people don't know, and if they don't get like the instructions, so the reel seat on a spinner rod is made kind of oval shaped, so you can split your fingers on it, right? So it can go. That's where your hand. And I show people. I say, look, if you put your hand here, the rod almost balances itself. This is how it's meant to be. And if you're right-handed, you're supposed to use the strength of your right hand for the rod, and with your left. And I have to. I mean, this is just stuff that I go through almost every single trip, but you still get
3 times a trip.
You still get the upside downers. Then you change the handle and they still reel upside down.
Oh my God. Okay. So the other day I had one, and it got on my nerves probably because it's August, but I don't know how to explain it other than they held the handle of the reel in the same place and moved the rod around it.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
all right.
oh my god,
This leads into one more pet peeve. So we'll set drag depending on our fishing. Okay, so there's 2
Don't
parts to
touch
this.
the damn drag.
There's 2 parts to this. Number 1, don't touch the drag. Number 2, when you hear it clicking insanely amount, you're spinning your tires and nothing. All you're doing is spinning my line.
I've given up on that.
Yep.
I can't teach
for me.
people.
So I know a
them
lot of
catch
you
that
guys
rock.
have gone mostly to braid. I'm still stuck on the mono. That's the one thing that really does the mono.
Okay, how about the cast and go to spin the reel to close the bail instead of closing it with your hands.
Yes, that one. I get a lot of those.
Yep.
Mister, I don't have pet peeves. Is sitting there
Yeah.
wearing
Yeah,
his
okay.
eyebrows out like.
Okay,
God.
so I didn't think I had as many as
The
you're
pet
bringing up.
peeves are coming. We brought it out.
Yeah, you brought it out. So okay,
The
yeah.
truth shall set you free.
My favorite is when we trout fish. You drift corks, and when the cork goes down, close the bail and reel them in. I literally, it
It's
is a
simple.
3-step process. It is
Yeah.
so simple. And watching these people try and turn the handle
Handle
to
to
spin it,
yeah.
Or set the
they-
hook.
and they broke it.
Yeah.
So like all my rods now are basically broke. When you go to spin the handle, it just goes tick 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 tick, and the
Yeah, it
bail
won't,
stays
it won't
open.
close. Yeah.
And he goes, Captain, it won't. I can't reel this fish in. Yeah, because your bail's open. Tick 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 tick. Close the bail and then reel.
Yeah, that's a. And then the
And you
half,
can hear it, too, no matter
exactly.
where you are,
That or
you're
the
turning
half
around.
or the half bail where they feel like they've closed it and it just kind of stops there halfway
Yeah.
or. Yeah, those are all
Especially when
not,
they-
not
especially
paying
when-
attention to kind of what they're doing. All they think of is lift reel, lift reel.
or when they get a cast and it's not closed all the way.
Oh,
cast and
how
it
many?
just
How
falls
many?
into
All
dam.
right. How many jigfish have we lost?
Oh,
How many jigfish have we had the paya,
Zing pow.
zing pow? Yeah, that's a
tell you
good
what,
one.
they go a long way.
They do it. They do it. I swear I had the bail open. I was like,
Sure you did.
Yeah,
you did.
sure.
It's closed right now.
Yeah. No. That's a pretty good one too.
All right, I got one. This might just be me again. I don't know. I have a lot.
All right, let's hear it.
How about neck breathers when you're trying to get up on a spot and they're standing right next to you, breathing
Oh,
your neck,
look at the
staring at the
screen?
screen?
Oh no, I don't
don't
mind
know.
that because I'll start explaining like
I don't
I do
mind.
that.
I don't
I
mind them wide
explain a
open.
lot, man. I
what
can,
you see, what it looks
Yeah.
like,
so,
what you're trying
so
to
what
do.
I've done
yeah.
recently, and it has helped me a bunch, is I have marked. Let's say I go to a spot and I set the boat up in between 2 deep holes.
Yeah.
You can see the boat icon on the screen very clearly. I'll have everybody kind of huddle around and I'll explain the boat is here. Here's the marks. You can see it clearly. There's a hole. There's a hole.
Here's where we want to fish. Here's where we
Yep,
want to fish.
it's flat back there. It's flat back there. We
Yep.
want to target these areas, and
Yep.
they can see it on the screen. Because if you look out on the water, it all looks the same. But if you have the holes marked on your screen,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
they can see it,
that
and
and-
everybody gets behind the process.
On top of explaining like how water flows, like so the corners are going to be deeper than the straightaways. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. That's all. That kind of gives you a little bit of profit. I'm just watching my other captain drive by here on my boat. Why is it at the dock? my boat's just riding down the
He
creek.
might have his lady friend.
I think he does. I think he does. Oh,
Okay,
Parker
how
on
about
Fish
this
Finder
one
too.
for you? All right, guys, this isn't bass fishing. We don't cast near the grass.
Yeah.
And then they throw it
The
right
first-
against the oysters,
first-
and then you retie a
first-
rig,
yep.
and then the next cast right in the oysters.
And see, all right, so I know you guys do a lot of braid top of fluoro, right? Mm-hmm. So I've got a few set of rods where I've got my fluoro on top of my mono, and there's a couple of set of rods that are just mono. You do that one time, and you bust off my fluoro braid that I just set
just
up all
get
nice and
mono.
pretty for you. Here's your other rod.
Yeah.
This is your timeout rod. This is you can break this one off a couple times, and you'll. I always call it. I think I've heard Q's had a few of these the fishing timeout or the fishing penalty.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you break off a rig after I've told you, hey, don't do this, I'm going to make sure everybody else is good. Then I'm going to fix your rig for you.
So I will do my best, and I can usually explain to them away from the oysters, and I will take my sweet time repairing. I'll have a rod with a rig on it ready to go. If they've done it a couple times, I'll just
Yep.
sit there and repair the
There-
same one
yep.
over and over
Yep.
again until they get the point. And then what'll get me is hey, don't cast over there. It's nothing but oysters. You'll get hung up, and somebody like misses the cast, throws it over there, and then catches a fish. And then they throw it over there every single time.
Well, and then the other one too is the oysters, and then when we're out at the reefs, hey, don't let it just slack on the bottom.
Or we're fishing right over the structure, just drop straight down. They want to cast it 100 yards.
Yeah, that.
I'll let them send it.
You know, because the
Send
first,
it.
fishing out there, the first sea bass or whatever is going to grab that thing and take it right underneath. You give him any slack, he's going to take it right underneath something. And you get this one guy that's always hung in a rock or always hung in the bottom. You're like, hey, when you drop it down next time, take a little of the slack out of the line.
There's always one.
And
I
you
love
might.
finding
And you
What's
might,
slack, Robert?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna have no eyebrows after this, dude.
Curly.
You're sitting there
I was
like-
sitting over here listening to you guys about pet peeves, and I was like,
You-
no, I don't really
you
have
got
that many
some
pet
people
peeves.
that
Now
are-
you got me started.
You got some people that are hung in the rocks nonstop. You got some people that are 6 damn feet under the boat.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't
true,
understand that that's not a bottom. There's no fish there.
too. Well, with the kids, something
I
I've
can
learned-
see your bait, sir.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
about the kids, and I guess these are little things I picked up with a bunch of kids, is we do the Mississippi count, right? I'll count it in my head when I do the demonstration cast, so then I'll give them that count, or I'll try to explain to them, like hit the line. Sometimes, especially, I guess, I don't know as much with braid as mono, but kind of have to wiggle the rod just a little
Yeah, the
bit.
braid will get caught every now
Yeah,
and then.
and wiggle it, just keep wiggling it until it goes slack, then close the bail and tighten it up, and et cetera, et cetera. But no, I mean, so the reeling to the rod tip, I know is a pet peeve of a lot of people, but I keep a full kit of rod tip, like a full rod tip repair kit on the boat. Here is my pet peeve: swinging hooks and leads. When I get the kids on the boat and they reel it up and they leave it 4 foot from the top and then shove it in the closest rod holder, you got a lead and a hook just swinging around.
Okay.
So that's one of my pet peeves. So the only way to counteract that is to go against another pet peeve, which is reeling it up to the rod tip. I've kind of gone to the point where I'm just like, look, reel it to the rod tip. That's fine. If you're going to put it in a rod holder, at least it's not swinging around trying to hit me.
Do you have people struggle as much as I have people putting rods in rod holders?
The ones on the gunnels, yes, because they do not understand that they're at an angle. They try
round
to
peg, round hole.
yeah, they try to put it straight in, and they're like, I don't understand.
And it's
Or-
like a half inch in there,
Yeah.
and it's about to fall out.
and then they let go.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh? You get that little gasp as it
I
falls.
got one.
All right.
Laying the rod on the gunnel.
Ooh,
Not even
yeah.
putting it in a rod holder, just laying it on the gunnel.
Guys, rods inside the boat, please. I hear myself saying this in my head as we talk about it. Oh,
Guys,
yeah.
getting
Yeah,
to the
that's-
point in the
that's-
summer, we're all a little grouchy. It's August. It's 108 degrees.
We've been
we
running
sound
hard.
really bitchy right now.
We're not. It's
And,
just
and
August.
we're not normally like this, but this is
They're legit.
yeah.
Yeah,
This
they
is
are.
this is our
Yeah.
list of complaints for the year. We have worked 100-something days, pretty much straight.
Yeah.
We've seen it all.
And
I've lost 2 rods this year.
that's not.
Knock on wood,
Not
I don't think I've
horrible.
lost any. I haven't lost any this year. Now,
Now, I lost 17 anchors 2 years ago, but them both-
Trolling motor will fix all.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or good anchoring. One of the two.
You know what my other. Okay, I gotta
All right.
go over this one because Chris is here.
Yeah.
My pet peeve is Chris in the morning.
Ooh.
I
Chris.
literally, I want to throw him overboard every morning, and the moment his mouth opens, I don't care if he's taking a breath. His, Miss Hannah, she agrees with me. The moment his mouth opens in the morning,
Chris,
What is
I
it?
just get
Is it ample amounts of positivity or
Chris,
what?
come tell your story.
Chris,
All right, Chris is coming
Sprinkles,
in.
you're out. Get up.
Chris is coming in.
Chris, come here and defend yourself.
You got
You're
Nick swapping
my
out for Chris.
my dock mate. You got to defend
So what's
yourself.
what's the deal with the morning? Like, why Chris in the morning?
August doesn't suck, Clinton. The heat doesn't suck.
That's
the
right.
45-mile-an-hour winds doesn't suck. Your attitude sucks.
That sounds like a
Chris is face.
fix your face.
But have I done it this year?
No.
Chris
I'm
is-
laid back. I'm laid off you this year. Last year though, because
No, now he's all giving it to me.
yeah,
Yeah?
you could get him to the point where he was ready to punch you in the face.
Really? You get that intense?
Like 2 comments,
The-
and he was ready. He would storm off,
He'd look at you-
kicking
he'd look at you and
buckets,
say, "Not today."
throwing shrimp in the deck.
Oh,
So
come
then it
on,
was a
kid.
game.
Positivity, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he'd
There's
be
a
so
new
happy
factor
about
that has
it.
changed his attitude this year.
Oh yeah, he
He'd
does have a new girlfriend now.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
He'd be so happy about it all the time, man. Just,
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
You knew
Quick,
it.
Are you ready to
All
have
right,
a
so
great
I don't know how
day?
I don't know how Jason is on this, but I know having other captains and having to run every day, sometimes you just got to put on that makeup,
Oh, yeah.
right? Especially for the ones they're coming behind you.
Oh.
Put on that makeup because it is August and it is like this is the time to grind.
And I am great at it at 6:55. Let me
6
Let me-
o'clock.
6 o'clock. No, just wait for that caffeine to hit me. Wait for me to get a good vibe on the boat. Let me play some dirty heads. Let me get everything rigged.
So-
but when I am not awake yet, I am 6 minutes out of the bed and Topher's already on my case.
You gotta
And
be
we
positive.
were side by side, so we always had you pick a song today.
Yeah.
He comes with a song one day, I come with a song the next day.
Oh, I do miss that. I miss that so
It did
much.
set the tone for it. We were the only ones here. It was like 5:45.
Yeah.
We got here early just to do that, and we'd meet at the bait shop at like 5:30. And you would get here, and that's.
I'm not even out of bed at 5:30. Just FYI.
Kids up at 5 o'clock.
This game of just to aggravate me.
Yeah.
Just to aggravate me every morning.
Because I knew I had you. You were in my pocket.
Oh, dude, you had rentals. You owned property
Yeah.
in my.
Like I had.
He was playing Monopoly all day long.
It was, and it was great. So
And I
once
think-
you start doing it, and then you get that reaction, like I got you.
That sounds like another captain I know here.
Uh-oh. Which one?
Scotty Witten.
Oh yeah.
If you ever tell him something that bothers you, he'll drill a freaking
Every
hole
time.
in the ground.
Oh, yeah?
Anything bad that happens to you?
You remember that time? Scotty's actually in Venice, Louisiana.
Oh,
Gilmore fishing.
you know,
one
it's
week,
funny.
to
I
go
saw his
kill it a whole
snap.
year.
Yeah.
I saw his Snapchat, and it was bringing back memories because I used to work in the Gulf for like
Yeah,
six
Delta
six-
House
six-
and Elf and all them.
Yeah, those deep water
Yeah.
rigs. I used to run to all those rigs, man. The fishing down there.
I have a question. Is there anything on Earth you haven't done?
Any-
I feel like every story
School
you're
bus
like,
driver.
I've never left the country.
really?
Yeah, never left the country.
Not even like Bahamas
Nope.
or
Nope, never been on a cruise.
really?
Yeah,
You've never been in international waters?
I've been in international waters.
You left the country.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Now I've traveled everywhere across the entire Gulf of Mexico and a good portion of the East Coast. Not much beyond New York, New Jersey, but New
You're
York.
not missing much of it.
Yeah.
What the hell you want to do up there?
Yeah, no, not much.
Nothing.
Not go up and run tugs anymore.
Now, I will say, they have two things going for them up there. Pierogies and pork roll.
I'll give you
So
that.
Jersey side is hoagies and
Damn.
and the pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Up there, they worship pizza.
Pizza.
Pie.
Pizza.
Give me a slice of pie.
Do you ever want to piss off a damn, and I'm married to one, so I can tell you straight up. You ever want to piss off a person from Jersey or New York?
My mom's from Jersey.
Just immediately start talking shit on pizza. I literally be like, look, it's bread, sauce, and cheese. Get over it. And
So
they
good,
get
yeah.
bent out of shape in a manner you have never seen.
I got one more. We were talking the other day, most overrated food, and I said chicken parm. Oh my God, you'd have thought I
Did you have
kicked
a-
their first
did you have an Italian?
child.
A good old Italian Jersey
they were-
Guido on the boat.
I don't care what I said. If I said the sky was blue, they were mad at me because of it.
That's funny.
But I said chicken parm was overrated. I said it's good, but
It is
it's
good.
just a saucy chicken tender with cheese. Honestly,
Saucy chicken tender. I like
it's
that.
a saucy chicken
tender with cheese.
I mean, it's not.
Now I know we probably don't have the top-notch chicken farm down here in the South, but
Either way, it's all the same ingredients.
yeah, you're
What
right.
about
But
veal parm?
it doesn't matter.
Veal farm. That's
It's still
what is that called? Oh,
veal
man.
parm.
No, there's another. What's a Wolfgang Puck? He does the. It's not schnitzel, is it? Is that
No,
veal?
'cause that's a
Or-
noodle.
What the hell?
Schnitzel's a hot dog.
But as good as the food is up
Veal
north,
schnitzel.
it's not enough to keep them up there.
No, apparently not. I mean, every other day. Oh yeah, we moved here last week. Yeah, okay.
I think 80% of our clientele is like, oh, we just bought a house. We're from New York, New Jersey,
Well,
Baltimore, Ohio.
Join the club.
Okay, pet peeve on the boat. When Yankees get on the boat, move down here, and want to talk about how great it is up there.
Oh, how great the rock bass.
I grew up there and I hate it.
The rock, we went rock fishing, rock bass fishing
Yeah.
the other day, and okay, we'll go back up there and fish rock bass.
Yeah.
And we're gonna fish something else down here.
We don't have them.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was so great, you should have stayed.
I love it when they're like, I can't believe you don't have them. And I'm like, well, if you had the greatest fishery ever, what the hell are you doing in my backyard?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, and it is funny because, the stereotypes they're true. You can say whatever you want about Southerners, Yankees, Western Californians. I mean, most stereotypes are they're pretty accurate.
They're a stereotype for a
Yeah, if
reason.
you see a guy walking down the boulevard with his pants hanging off his ass, yeah, he's probably got a backpack full of dope. I mean, that's reality.
At least
you
in
know.
Myrtle Beach.
In
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach,
In
Dirty
Myrtle-
Myrtles,
Dirty
not
Myrtle.
Myrtle's Inlet.
Oh, it's anywhere.
Yeah. Nah, not
Anywhere.
Myrtle's Inlet. Myrtle's Inlet, they'd be selling hot dogs or some kind of stickers or something.
Dog stickers, yeah.
I don't know, man. I hope we stay under that radar. Hope we stay.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not bashing Myrtle's Inlet, but if they open up one more damn smoke shop down here, I
They're
feel
everywhere.
like
Everywhere.
everywhere you look, it's
Why you
either
knocking on
smoke
the
shop or CBD. It's people like Nate or
Taking over.
Look at him. That guy over there, he's supplying Nick. No.
I'm right here.
I'm right
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry.
Were
Pump
you
up
down there
again.
for the Lone Ranger and Tonto joke?
No.
So Caleb told this joke the other day. Hannah, you might have to leave.
Oh yes, I did hear it. But I think our listeners.
Oh God, it was good. Yeah. Oh God, there's some good.
Are you
going
gonna
to
tell
You
us?
tell
I
it?
mean-
Come on, I didn't hear this joke.
Okay. Hannah, you
Hannah,
gotta.
She's fine.
She'll
She's
be
fine.
Telling it at school.
Says Dad.
So Lone Ranger and Tonto went out to find an outlaw, bring him in. And so they decided to split up. Trail went left, Trail went right. So Lone Ranger went one way, Tonto went the other. And Lone Ranger said to Tonto, if we get in trouble, we'll send some smoke signals, help. And so Lone Ranger, a day later, he gets surrounded by all these outlaws. And they said, we gonna hang you from that big oak tree there, Lone Ranger. You put all our buddies in jail or kill the rest of them. So he said, time's come, here we go. So they put the rope around the tree, get the rope around his neck. He said, boys, I have one last request. He said, I'd like a cigarette before you hang me up. One outlaw said, you know what, we can give this man a cigarette for his last request. So they put some tobacco in the paper, roll it up, and he starts cheeping. He's blowing. Well, lo and behold, here comes Tonto. But Tonto's got a naked woman on the back of his horse. And he puts his hand in his head and he goes, damn it, Tonto. I said, bring the posse.
Oh my God. Oh, these jokes.
I'm not gonna lie. Definitely not a pet peeve.
So
but-
some of the viewers might think it's kind of funny, and maybe one day I'll start recording this stuff. But we're on the VHF and we're talking. We'll have question of the day, joke of the day. All the charter captains get in. These are usually the jokes we get in mid morning or early afternoon to keep the morale going.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Were you on the radio yesterday when we were trying to get Nick to fully describe why they were filming a rap video on a house?
Yeah, I never got that whole point. Like I wasn't. Well, I gave up my trip to
That
someone
shit,
else.
my charter was crying.
Oh, yeah, they wanted to go look.
So that was a rap video. That
He was on a charter taking that
He was
picture?
on a charter at Mount Gilead, and there's like a rap video being filmed on a
like
porch.
tripod on the roof,
Yeah.
legit camera equipment, director in the window.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the guy in the window.
He's
and
total
the
creep.
picture
I
like,
did
didn't
not
do it
understand what
justice,
was
I
going
guess.
on.
So
No.
Nick's like, oh, it's a rap video. So we started like just trying to get him uncomfortable.
How'd you
Like,
know it was a rap
how'd you know it was a
video,
rap video? He's like, you know.
We
And
need
he's
to,
like, the lady's got a camera, and I was like, oh, it doesn't sound like a rap
could be a
video.
cooking
Yeah.
video, Nick.
Maybe
How
it's
do you know?
yeah. Maybe it's a TikTok video.
Maybe it's a commercial for roofing. He goes, it's definitely, he said, my man's got a chain bigger than Flavor Flav.
He did say that.
That's a rap video. Oh, that's funny.
You know what, Nick? Where is it? Nick, you need to come here and end us off with the T-shirt story. I think that would be the great ending to the podcast. Yeah.
Anything
Come on.
goes, Nick. Let's
Come
go.
on, tell the story.
Come on,
Come on, Nick.
We were just talking about you gotta do the story. The viewers have been sitting on their edges.
Yes.
Their listeners.
If you're on the edge of your seat, this will be the best story you've ever heard.
Yeah,
Get ready,
this is
get
the
down. Nicholas is coming to town.
Story time.
All right, come on.
Ted Nugent's back.
Bring it on.
All right, let's
Bring
hear
it
your
on.
best story. Let's go.
My best story?
No,
A
the
T-shirt story.
So actually, you guys are a large part of this T-shirt story.
I'm a 2X. I'm
Yep.
not a large.
I got to hear the T-shirt story because I know how awesome it was, and it was a pleasure to be involved in promoting it. So I want to hear where it came about from. I can't think of a better way
I
to
don't
end the
think
show.
You've ever heard?
No, I don't know where it came from, but I might have.
That's
I'll be
not
happy.
cool.
I'll be happy to tell you, but Nicholas, you're gonna tell the story.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna tell the story.
So there
Sorry,
was
I'm
a-
wet. I've been floating around.
There was a photo slash T-shirt slash label that was created, and it was brought to our attention in the group Snapchat we all have.
What kind of photo and what kind of label?
And the group Snapchat is called
Captain's
Captain's
Felonious
Felonious Report.
And so many of us started posting photos of ourselves.
It was a filter.
Yes, it was a filter. And so I found a app on my phone because I have Samsung, which is the greatest phone ever, Jason.
Shit.
And,
Try sending a text message.
Screw a text message. Try sending a video.
Yeah, send a video. It looks like 1994's like internet encryption.
I don't care what phone Jason's got, he don't answer it. Keep going.
That's true.
Keep going.
So I made one.
I just call Nick because he's right next to him at all times. So Nick will usually answer.
I'll answer. I'm good.
Nick, he's my translator.
Nick, hand the phone to Jason.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a true story.
So everybody was making their own photos and their own little
Who started this?
depictions of this thing, and
Was it Derek?
No.
and
There was a certain boat captain that used his face as his logo, if I'm not correct.
So I went above and beyond, and I downloaded this app, and I made a official
Official or official?
I made an official logo, and so everybody started saying, "That's awesome! You need to make that real."
Yeah.
So as a joke,
So it was official.
it was official.
It was an official
I want to
app.
make sure it was official.
And so I printed 11 shirts, and they were hilarious, and they were kind of badass, to be honest with you.
They were.
I like
They
it.
are. I don't know why you didn't.
Dude,
do it
I'm
again
at a
this year.
Waccamaw High School football game, and a young man comes walking in front of me. And I'm like looking around going, are you kidding me? That's my dog Nick on this dude's back. I'm like, come here, dude. He's like, that's my uncle.
Yeah,
The
that
only
was-
reason
my
I
nephew
never
Nick.
got one of these shirts is because of the story about to come up.
Yeah, so that was my nephew Nick you saw. I
Is he going to
appreciate
tell the
him
bedroom
supporting
story?
I hope so. That's
God,
the whole reason.
you
I'm sitting
better.
here.
So
Don't you hold back.
I make it, and we print 11 shirts, and everybody wants them. So Jason's like, hey man, let's print them. So we print what, 80, almost 90 shirts,
Almost 100 shirts, yeah.
and they were gone.
Days.
Yeah.
Gone. And like it was random times I'd be driving around, especially during bike week, and I'd be driving around and I would see one on the side of the road, some lady wearing it, walking.
Let's
down
paint the
street.
picture for the audience. This is a black shirt.
Yes.
Just think of your badass like biker shirt. It's a
Yep.
black shirt with Nicholas's face, who's got a beard like ZZ Top,
It's beautiful.
with glasses on, looking like that he's going into a bar about to whip everybody's ass, but yet he's still smiling.
Yep.
And it's all black and white.
Yeah. And then so that happens, and a lot of them, and they're all sold out. And
And they're all sold out.
And we need more.
All
need more.
100 of them.
So
Gone.
I'll start it with Robbie
Yeah.
Remsen.
Oh, the story's epic.
And so Robbie tells me that he's laying in bed.
Well, no, he comes down to the dock. He goes, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, Robbie
He goes,
was upset with me.
You suck. And
And-
Nick's like, this is 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, what the hell did I do?
Please tell me that Laney came to bed wearing
Hold on.
Oh, don't you
So
ruin the story.
Let me go ahead and
Paint the picture.
say that this shirt is a tri-blend. It's very comfortable. It's very soft. It's a nice shirt.
It is.
And so Robbie comes in. He's pissed. He's mad. And I'm like, "What's up, Robbie? You know what's going on?" Because his boat's right next to me at the time. And he's like, "So I'm in bed, and I'm wanting to get a little. How can I make this?
A little freaky.
Frisky.
He wants to get a little frisky.
If,
little-
if
a little
I'm awake in the
bounce.
morning,
Come
you should be awake in the
on.
morning.
Yeah. So Robbie's flashlight is turned on full brightness. He leans
There you
over
go.
to grab Lady, and he opens his eyes, and it is my face.
Bye, y'all.
You hear this?
Laney
Yep.
is wearing my shirt, and Robbie rolls over to my face.
Staring him right in the eyes.
Yes.
I'll say,
Just making eye contact with him.
so what you're saying is, he went from full staff to half staff real quick.
I don't know. He might have finished immediately. I don't know. So this has also happened to Quentin.
No, never happened to me because I never got a shirt.
It was Justin, I think.
It was
No.
oh.
We won't name names
No,
on that.
no.
one.
No. Yeah, you can't name
But Quentin had a similar situation. We'll just leave it at that.
So what you're telling me is, if I'm to roll over in the morning and see your ugly face, That's the greatest birth control ever.
Yep, and know that it's not going to last long.
Yeah, it's never going to last
It ain't
long.
gonna last long
It ain't gonna
anyway.
start. It can't last when it doesn't start.
Might make it last longer.
Well,
You always got to focus on something not nice.
Dude, so you know I got a picture of Nick in my wallet, right?
Yeah?
Keeps all when somebody goes to steal my money, they open it up, they see Nick, they go, ah! And run.
I'll tell you what, dude.
Old school security system
That's
right
great.
there.
Talking about making things last longer. Y'all did a great job making the podcast last longer. Yay.
That's about the only thing we can make last long.
No, y'all did a good job.
Link
I
is not-
Beer
cannot.
last long, I can tell you that.
Here's my thing. Now I get the joy of listening to an hour and 10 minutes of this podcast that I didn't know existed.
See? It's pros and
And
cons.
so
Everybody wins.
I get this edited, get it up, and I get to listen to stories that were told up here. And I'm going to tell you, I can't imagine if Jason got over here and finally got going on the pet peeves that bothered him.
He didn't have as much as I expected.
No, I was
Really?
expecting Jason to rattle off and be some good ones.
I feel like me and Q had more.
Yeah, the sleeper was Robert. Because he gets up here, I don't have any
Oh,
pet peeves.
yeah.
And then went
we
off.
got him started.
Robert,
Oh, here
Robert,
we go.
you don't have any pet peeves, huh?
Oh yeah, apparently I do.
Hey, listen. So we got about another month of being here on the big deck and enjoying this beautiful weather. And actually, I hate to say it, but the weather's going to only get better.
It'll get better.
So I would say enjoying the crowd, but y'all, we've all talked about it. This crowd has been quiet tonight. And I'm talking about overall, like the crowd on the Marsh
It's
Wall.
100.
I mean, you got 105-degree heat index. You had severe weather.
You're right.
earlier.
You're right.
I just think when people live in a world nowadays, if you turn on the Weather Channel or you look at your app, you should just never go outside.
Don't go outside.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
The ratings on weather apps go up when they say the sky is falling. And that's what's happening. We have people call us, oh, let's see, it's 100 degrees. I guess the fish aren't biting. I mean, fish are biting. You just got to come fish, you know. But we also get people. I had a trip from Nebraska the other day, and my favorite quote ever. I don't understand this place. I come outside and everything's wet.
Sweat.
I'm wet.
Everything's
My
wet.
clothes are wet. My car's wet. Like, everything's just wet. And I say, well, welcome to the South. In August.
Yep.
Hot-ass humidity.
8,000.
8,000.
You can drown above water.
Oh, yeah.
It's so humid.
Well, we have shared some incredible stories today and tonight, however you want to put it, and you guys rock. And we'll be back next week. Because the joy of this is we're not going to get canceled.
No.
We have control of this. And
Oh, I can try
we
if
will
you
be
want.
back next week. But let's talk about it. Fish Finder, how do we get in touch with you?
At Fishfinder Fishing or
Fishfinderfishing.com.
fishfinderfishing.com. Yep.
Fishfinderfishing.com. Of course, MIFC fishingcharters.com.
Or at
And-
Marco's Pizza, evidently.
and wow. And of course, CarolinaHookandFly.com, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. You can book a charter with all these incredible guys and become part of the story. Why not? Hey,
Why not be the next story that we
why
tell on
not
there?
be the next story?
It might not want to be the next.
Quentin, as Quentin would always say, he's all right with it. Come on, Wine Dine 69.
Yeah, get him gone, Junior.
Get them going, gone. But I'll tell you what, we're going to be gone. It's time to go eat some dinner. And we'll be back next week. We'll be hanging out on Jason's big wooden deck, telling stories, telling lies, and anything else that pops up.
Boing.
No pun
Turkey's
intended.
And immediately goes down.
And immediately goes down. Hey, y'all, this is Captain Spiloni's Reports. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, and download every episode. We'll be back next week.
That's a pretty good one.
Trilogy Outdoors Podcast is a product of Trilogy Outdoors Media. All views and opinions of our hosts and guests are not necessarily those of our sponsors. Trilogy Outdoors is produced and edited by Trilogy Outdoors Media. Be sure to follow us on all the podcast platforms as well as our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And also don't forget our other brands, Southern English Radio Show and Walk 'Em All Outdoor Magazine. To find more information, visit TrilogyOutdoorsMedia.com. And remember, if it's anything dealing with fins, fur, and feathers, you're going to find it right here on Trilogy Outdoors.